horror movie?
What?
Oh, sorry. Let's make a horror movie?
Oh, you can even imagine what that's like. I wonder what it would be like then. Brains in jars, I'm going to guess.
We're a long way for God now, son.
Bum ears.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Bum ears.
Slowly
Coming out of his mouth.
crawling out
Yeah,
of his
that's
mouth,
fucking
just stretching
cool.
his skin.
No. So he doesn't save them, the bridge goes down, people die, and he's like, oh well, job done. Clarence?
Can we try take two again?
Yeah. All I'm saying is maybe don't trust sentient hats to make life-changing decisions, but...
Thanks for your correspondence, Jacob.
Okay, welcome to episode 8 of Let's Make a Horror Movie. I'm Dave.
And I'm John.
This is the podcast where each episode we take it in turns to pitch the other one a horror movie idea, a first draft, and one that welcomes any and all improvements, both from the opposing host, but also from you Lamamians. Just trying that out there. Yeah. Listeners. But
I prefer John's, but...
yeah, no. We're not calling our listeners Johns.
I think we already
It's like
have.
the fucking worst possible option. Anyway, one of us pitches the other one a horror movie idea. The other one builds on it like a group of friendly caddisfly larvae.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
scavenging for building materials from whatever's available in their environment. Which I felt was a relevant...
That's how I see all our listeners.
Yeah, frankly. So, as always, you can reach us at letsmakeahorrormovie@gmail.com, or you can tweet us on Twitter at LamamPod. That's LMAHM pod. We're also on Instagram, and you can call us on +44 2210 400 1000 beef. You can't do that.
You finally got that beef number.
You
paid a lot for that.
I paid a lot for beef.
Worth every penny.
Tried to get 1-800-BEEF, didn't get it. Yeah, don't try that number. Well, do, but it won't get us.
Go for it.
So we don't recommend calling. Quick note, if you're new to the podcast and start thinking, I don't know, it's not as fast paced as I like.
Already, no.
Right? All I'm saying is, give it a few minutes, and if you still feel the same, skip ahead to the story. If you still don't like that, it's probably a you problem.
Yeah, it's on them at that point.
Yeah. But nonetheless, why not come back in 10 episodes after that and see if you like it better?
We're doing our jobs.
Yeah.
You got to do yours.
Your job's just liking it. But yeah, come back in 10 episodes if you're really struggling.
Yeah.
And if still no, try our sister podcast, Let's Bake a Horror Smoothie. And on that, welcome to episode 8. This is a Dave week.
It is. Even number.
And that sound means prizes to be won.
We've got a first caller.
Hello? Is that Let's Make a Horror Movie?
Right, so we've just eaten. Can you guess what we've eaten by the timbre of our voices?
I can.
It's obvious, mate.
It's always the same. It's human flesh.
Yeah, of course.
Always.
Don't spoil it.
Oh, hello. Ted has decided he wants to go back out.
Oh.
Sorry, John. Would you do the honours?
Yeah, he's like Bette Midler, isn't he?
Is he? In what way? Has he got wind beneath his wings?
Yeah. He's obviously like Bette Midler in too numerous ways to get into at this point.
Bette Midler famously only got one arm. Like
of course.
Yeah, if you want to see photos of Ted, head to our Instagram.
Yeah. And want to see pictures of Bette Midler, Google.
Oh, another thing, we have got an intro to the show now.
We have. It's very fancy.
So, I don't know, give us your thoughts, give us your feedback.
Yeah.
Make your own one. I mean, not for your own shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But you could make one
for our show. Yeah. Don't just make your own intro for yourself.
You could do that too.
But
send us your own intros.
Do that on your own time.
We'll play them live.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be up for that.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. If just an intro to you.
Yeah.
Like you are a show.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, hey, fun fact, John.
Yeah.
Today's Friday the 13th.
It is. It's a spooky day.
Spooky, sure. I mean, I'm not one for like sort of overtly commercialized.
Yeah, you like more about artisanal spooky.
So yeah, Friday the 13th. Of course, it won't be when you're listening to this.
No, but
dear Lamamian listeners.
it was once Friday the 13th.
And it will be again.
Yeah.
At some point.
If I've got my way, it will.
So who knows? Maybe it'll lend an air of creepiness to the episode.
Yeah.
But if you're hearing voices that aren't John or I,
Yeah.
maybe get yourself checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because it probably isn't anything to do with Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
But it's almost certainly not.
Yeah, I mean, if
I'm
you
going to go out on a limb and say it's definitely not.
I think if you went to a doctor and said, I only hear voices on one specific day, they'd be like, mate, live with it.
Right, how often does that day roll around?
Yeah.
Unless it was every Monday.
Yeah, you'd be fine. Yeah. Unless you did shit. I mean, let's not get into it.
Anyway, so happy Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Last week now. Yeah. If you knew, the podcast.
This is it.
The podcast is split into 3 acts.
Yeah.
The first act is we run through feedback that we got on last week's story, which was yours, John.
Yeah, it was Empty Skin.
Empty Skin, episode 7. Exciting stuff. It's a creature feature.
Yeah. Native American creature feature.
Yeah, and Act 2 of the podcast, we will do a quick cover of all the things.
We'll cover all of culture.
All of culture.
In the last fortnight.
Everything cultural that's happened in the last fortnight.
15 days ago, fuck off.
You're going to find it here.
But no, 14-0, we're on it.
Yeah,
all
absolutely. And Act 3 is the actual pitch itself, which this week is coming from me.
Very excited.
Episode 8, Evens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a weird one. from what you've said.
Dude, it's always a weird one. Without further ado, feedback then on Empty Skin.
Who was written in today?
Let's start with, we got Alex has sent some feedback in.
Hello, Alex.
She points out that, I don't know if you recall our Harry Potter conversation about me making young girls cry.
Of course.
And how I'm a Gryffindor.
A real staple of the podcast.
There was a Gryffindor Ravenclaw accidental conundrum that I ran through last week. And you said that Harry Potter, who was a Gryffindor, doesn't make girls cry, and she's actually like, "Yeah, he does."
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
That Asian girl, doesn't she cry?
She's got a name. She must have a name. Now the question is, do we leave this in or do we take it out?
I mean,
I want to say. Well, now I don't want to take it.
What do you want to say?
Now I don't want to take a guess at it because I thought I knew the name. But now I don't want to say it because it's going to sound like I'm as bad as you are.
Oh, no.
But she also says Harry Potter is legit a dick. So...
Oh, hello. What? back up those heavy words.
I mean, she didn't back that up. She just threw that out there.
Oh, just leaving it there.
Leaving it there.
Self-explanatory.
I suspect it might be because he made...
Her name, was Cho Chang.
Cho Chang. So... Because he made her cry, I'm wondering...
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd say he was a dick. He has some challenging times.
Yeah. Well, I can't possibly knock it because, J.K. Rowling is brethren, as far as I'm concerned, and it's like I have an inbuilt thing.
Yeah.
Like a sort of... what is it that AI is supposed to have?
Yeah. A kind of like Scottish Asimov's law.
Exactly right. Exactly that.
You don't turn on a fella Scott.
You don't turn on a fella Scott. You can't. It's not that you don't. You just can't. It's like a
you raised a claymore, but you can't make it hit.
Yeah, if you do, then you suddenly vomit iron brew and die.
Yeah.
Of a heroin overdose. So, she says those, and she also says, and this is straight out of left field, Buffy the Vampire Slayer apparently pronounces it Wendigo?
Does she?
Fuck no, I mean,
what episode was the Buffy Wendigo?
Wendigo. I mean, 20 years ago?
I'm a big Buffy fan. I genuinely not for jokes.
Yeah, and
I really love
the movie as well with Luke Perry.
Yes, alright. Yeah, Paul Rubens.
He's dead now, Luke Perry. I think.
Oh, mate, what a way to find out.
What, in my shed?
Yeah, on the air like this.
On the air.
Stop recording.
Mate, we're live. We can't.
Gotta hold it together.
Cut him off.
Oh, you're gonna see a real
swearing on air.
Yeah, a real spiraling from me now. Paul Rubens steals that film. It's great enough.
Paul Rubens? You mean Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah, he's a vampire in it. He's very funny in it. There's a very funny death scene.
Well.
So it's a good film.
Don't know how I missed that. Anyway, he was...
Rutger Hauer's in it.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer, he's dead. I mean, it's just a he's dead list.
Yeah.
It's either he's dead or he masturbated in a cinema.
Yeah.
They're the two And got caught.
Yeah.
And...
I mean, yeah, look how it's implied, but...
Well, we've all done it. No.
You've ruined Finding Nemo for me.
Yeah.
I would say, could have signed Native American. I think it's like... I looked this up the other day.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, I forgot to call you out on this in the last episode, where you go, oh yeah, it's like, it means this in Native American.
Yeah.
Native American isn't a language. It's not a language.
Yeah.
And also, I think a lot of the time, the correct nomenclature nowadays is First Nation peoples.
Of course.
But, I mean, I don't know.
No.
Who knows?
No.
Nobody knows.
No one can possibly know.
Anyway.
Oh god, I looked it up, it was like, began with C. It wasn't Chippewa, it was another one. So yeah. Okay. That's that controversy put to bed.
Well.
Delicately handled.
Don't ever say we don't do our research, folks. Remember, so Alex has written in with some suggested titles, but she goes for the music song-based titles.
Yeah.
So she went for the Monster Mash.
Yeah, I like that.
It's an option. And Can You Wendigo It? So Can You Dig It? Which I think is a song by the Mock Turtles, for anyone who...
And Alex is a professional writer, I'm led to believe.
Yes, she is.
Can you Wendigo it?
She also said she'll never think about hamsters in the same way again. So,
no one
which
will.
is fair enough.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. I mean, I really tried to paint a picture with few words. I tried to sort of...
It was elegantly put.
Simplicity is the essence of design.
Yeah.
And that was my approach to...
Specificity is the soul of wit.
I also realised last week that for anyone who's like maybe under 30 that might listen to this, they might not know how the Richard Gere hamster up the arse thing relates.
Yeah.
So just in case you didn't understand, there was a rumour that Richard Gere put a hamster up his, or a gerbil, I don't know, a small mammal up his arsehole.
If it helps explain it, it was apparently for sexual purpose. It wasn't. It wasn't something.
It wasn't trying to retrieve anything.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't for like a kind of medical basis.
It wasn't like a maze.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a set a few loose like for scientific purposes to see which one gets out of the mouth first.
Or some like religious belief. It was definitely for his own pleasure. So,
Yeah. Well,
takes all
I mean,
sorts.
I'm not sure. I don't want to get litigated by Richard Gere, but I think I
do.
I suspect it may
Come
not,
at us, Ricky.
may not have been 100% true.
No.
But,
not.
like, where there's smoke, there's some sort of animal going up an arsehole.
You've always said that.
I'm always saying it.
Yeah.
So anyway, J-Dubs got a bit of feedback
J-Dubs.
from a friend of the show, J-Dubs. Hello, Dave and John. Thanks for addressing my email. It's tough to argue with the gender response as you made your points well. However...
Thank you.
However...
Oh, I had to stop there, mate.
As a left-hander, I can argue this point, when faced with scissors, that the world is not entirely made for me. Not sure. Yeah, hold on.
Hang on. Is this like a fortune cookie?
Thanks for addressing my email. It's tough to argue with the gender response as you made your points well. However, as a left-hander, I can argue the point that the world is not entirely made for me. Because I said that... Because I said if you're a white man in Western society, everything is created for you.
Of course.
You're right.
Yeah.
John, but the reality, J-Dubs, is, you really should have been put to death once it was discovered that you were a left-hander. Probably.
Oh, I mean, I would argue that when we stopped doing that is when the world went downhill. I mean, I think I can prove it. I've got some graphs.
Look, there's a correlation.
Yeah, I've got some statistics that would.
I'm pretty sure if we graph the stats, we'd see a causation. Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
it's a given. So J-Dubs goes on to say, regarding the Gryffindor Gate, my daughter recovered in around 30 seconds, so no worries there. She lives the highs and the lows in an instant. Quite the life.
Quite the Ravenclaw response.
Isn't it?
Internalise, process, move on.
Shout out to Frank, who was sorted as a Ravenclaw and saved the day. Obviously, huge respect to for John for sporting the same lineage, and he spelt your name Jouyhn.
However he wants to.
For new listeners, this is an ongoing thing because John will spell his name pretty much whichever way you spell it when you write to him. So get involved.
Yeah, I'm only really real when someone talks to me. So my name becomes whatever they want it to be.
What people don't know is I'm doing a really good job of throwing my voice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we go. A couple of titles in the usual MO for your movie last week. So his alternatives to Empty Skin, which we requested.
Yeah,
or
we
I
did.
certainly did. Wendigo in Winona.
That's nice. I like that. That's nice.
Wendigo in Wayzata. I'm assuming these are places in.
Yeah.
Was it Wisconsin? No, Minnesota.
Yeah.
You asked for Asian titles for the film, so he's written Wendigo in Wojin. Again, I don't know. Oh, it's the 32nd largest city in South Korea. He says.
Oh, that's nice.
I assume they would reshoot some scenes to crack the market properly for this.
Yeah,
film.
they would have to. Really,
they would.
They
would. Yeah. Nice pitch, good change of theme. Not much to add plot-wise. Fucking hell.
Oh,
I mean,
that's lofty praise.
Wow, that is lofty
I
praise.
think that might be me done.
He said, time to retire.
Yeah.
Next week it'll just be me, folks.
Just still chasing that
talking
Jacob
into
to
my
people.
chest. Regarding a secondary arc, maybe need to add some obvious cause for the misdirected accusations. There could have been a more fiery breakdown of the couple's relationship and Amy's frustration at Scott's lack of growth in Act 1.
Yep, I think that's fair. I think you're probably right. You'd write at least one quite awkward row, at least, I think. Yeah.
The cops could try and put Scott's death on Amy and the killing of those close to them both. So that would add some complications to Amy's mission to save those she cares for as she's also on the run. That's great. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
I do think that conceit of there's nobody you can turn to.
Yeah.
I think that's quite powerful in a horror setting.
And it would bond Cal and Amy together quite well.
What was Cal's full name?
Callian.
Regarding Act 4, which I didn't actually check this with you, but I just added in Act 4 because of my Mothman rant.
It was worth it.
I'd like to point out that I've never and would never cross a bridge that is within 2 miles of a Mothman sighting, and I've not died in a bridge disaster yet. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Well made.
I'd also note that I was lectured at uni on the fundamental strategic design of bridges by an 8-foot Mothman. It didn't give it a moment's thought at the time, but on reflection, perhaps they educate as well as warn. Clarence. He wrote Clarence at the end. Thanks, J-Dubs.
Thank you very much. That was very good.
Always a treat. And I think, the Mothman rant, I don't know what happened.
The last episode, Mothman was in your crosshairs.
Well, it's stupid.
Tribe.
It's dumb as fuck, that's all
People
I'm saying.
generally believe it, though. For real believe it.
I know.
Yeah.
But then they also... There's a lot of shit people believe in that's complete fucking nonsense.
Yeah. Other people who see, like Satan in the flames of the Twin Towers. That's fucking mad stuff.
Look, you look for it, you see what you want to see.
Yeah.
Like, the reality is probably... Because we don't know. The reality is probably people stopped seeing Mothman because they stopped thinking about it because they were more concentrating on this bridge disaster.
Yeah.
And no one had ever really seen a Mothman because they don't exist.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just leave it, Dave. Leave it. Walk away.
Did you get any feedback your side, John?
Not really. We got
any casual.
Some casual feedback saying nice to put like a little sound between acts. That was my
really.
Yeah, most of the
people
feedback
are asking for an act break.
Yes, some kind of like I think the suggestions that I heard were a chainsaw or a scream.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I quite like that as well.
That's a good idea.
I thought to put in the pot alongside chainsaws and screaming. To know that kind of sound with like ripping skin, that kind of sort of thing like that.
Oh yeah. Dead familiar with the ripping skin sound. Yeah.
I've got it as my
your ringtone.
Yeah.
Welcome to Act 2.
Hello. Welcome back.
Maybe the sound we do is just the... from the old Transformers movie.
Oh,
not movie.
I thought that was a Godfather.
TV show. I mean, look, it's a bit of mouth trumpet. It could be anything. When the Godfather goes... That's the Godfather.
That's really good.
All I was doing was...
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Transformers.
Yeah. I mean, they're
when
so
the badge
close.
comes to the screen, flips around, goes back. There we go.
What, in The Godfather?
Yeah, it's when Unicron kills Sonny.
Already up-to-date references.
So, welcome to Act 2. Maybe
Pull up a seat.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed the sound effect, if there was one.
Yeah.
To differentiate
the ripping skin or chainsaw or screams.
Yeah, or the mouth trumpet.
Or the mouth trumpet.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can play anything on the mouth trumpet.
Anything and anyone, mate. That's how we met.
Right, look, we did watch a horror movie this week. Well, I'm going to come back to that because the first thing I want to talk about is Jeff Vandermeer tweeted us.
He did.
Which, it's just...
Phenomenally excited.
Drop everything, because that is If you don't know who Jeff Vandermeer is, you're really you're missing out.
You've made a mistake.
Life to this point for you has been beige, and you probably just haven't realised it.
Right now, you're being born into a new world.
Yeah, think of it as like
not
sort of born again Vanderism.
Yes,
Vandermeerism, in fact. No, but look, Jeff Vandermeer. I just wanted to quickly say he's an author that John and I very much enjoy.
That's great.
And I tweeted about Finch, his book Finch, which is the third book in the Ambergris trilogy.
Yeah.
If you haven't read them, highly, highly recommend it.
It's not horror, but it sits alongside.
It's like speculative fiction, science fiction, horror.
Almost like a period drama.
What did you call it? Weird.
He's part of the weird.
Sisters.
He was part of the new weird movement of
weird
of the last decade.
Who's old weird?
I don't know. Jimmy Savile.
Dude, I would laugh more at that if you weren't indirectly offending Jeff Vandermeer, who at this point is close to deity
I said
status.
I thought I shouldn't say that. I should answer the question properly. I think like Michael Moorcock. I think he might be classed as
right. Oh, okay, yeah. But like really quickly, the first book is called City of Saints and Madmen. Yes. Yeah. Second book's called Shriek.
Yeah.
And the third book is called Finch. And I went on a massive rant about how good these books were a few episodes ago, and I had to cut it out because it took about half an hour because we both of us really struggled to not talk at length about how good he is.
Find it hard.
So yeah, check him out, check his books out, more importantly, because they're fucking amazing. He also has a fantastic book of short stories called The Third Bear, which I highly recommend.
Not read the first two, but... Sorry.
No, I'm laughing because I thought about making that joke to him in my response to him on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I thought, don't do that. Because you're just going to come across like a dick.
Thanks, mate.
So no. You and I, funny, so funny.
Yeah,
definitely not dick.
Cracking wise.
But I thought, look, it's public, it's on Twitter. I can't,
He's a guy that we have immense amount of respect for.
Exactly. Who knows what he might take offence to?
Yeah, God, he
might be like, the fucking first two bears did actually die. They were real bears that I owned, and they died. It was
might
horrific.
have I lost my first wife to that second bear book.
Fucking hell! What?
For a divorce. It was a difficult process. I don't mean the bear mauled it. It's only a book, mate.
Okay. Anyway, I was trying to keep that short because I want to keep it in this time and not cut it out. So, but we watched a film. We watched. Do you want to talk a bit about the movie?
Yeah, we saw a South Korean remake of an earlier South Korean film. So, called The Wrath, a kind of classic ghost story.
WRATH.
Yes,
for anyone.
And it was really good. Kind of a bit of a kind of Victorian Gothic vibe.
Yeah, it was 14th century Korea, which it looked beautiful.
Yeah,
ghosts. The performances were fucking great.
Yeah, wronged women.
It was a really, really strong. I thought it was a really strong movie.
Yeah, it was definitely had a sort of touch of like Woman in Black sort to it. But with a kind of real kind of Asian sort of touches to it. It was brilliant.
Oh, it also has a great exorcist in it.
Brilliant exorcist. I'm about to mention him.
Yeah,
amazing. Can't remember his name.
So that's on Shudder.
Yeah,
the horror streaming
which
service.
just always keeps nailing it. Yeah, big fan of Shudder.
Yeah, and we don't get paid for mentioning.
No, we really don't.
I mean, we don't get paid for doing fucking anything.
If anything, I pay them.
Well, yeah, quite literally, you do pay them.
Yeah, for a cool $5 a month.
Worth it.
It's worth it. It's brilliant. I saw It Too. It's really, really good. It's good. Some people are talking about it and saying it's quite bloated and it's got a fair bit of CGI. All valid, but it's a summer blockbuster horror, and it is everything that entails. Its very existence is brilliant. The fact that we're in a time now where a horror film is going to be one of the biggest releases of the month, and it gets that kind of money and that kind of traction. That's pretty exciting. I've started reading the new Stephen King, The Institute. It's very good so far. About 100 pages in. It's lovely stuff. Basically, small town. There's like an ex-cop goes to small town, becomes like kind of night watchman. That's story A.
Yeah.
And story B is a very, very smart kid who maybe has some kind of light psychic powers.
When you say story A and story B, are we talking same story but different narratives?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so the reason I'm doing it like that is I've only read the first 100 pages, so I'm assuming they will come together.
It's not. Oh yeah, yeah.
I just like, what the fuck is this guy
two
wandering
separate
around?
stories.
This is a sad policeman. Spoiler. Yeah, and it's about like a psychic kid who gets kidnapped quite brutally by some kind of institute of the title, and there's loads of other kids there.
Tell you what sounds very similar to your pitch, Triceratops.
Oh, mate, Stephen King's all over my work.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for listening.
Fingers off, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, sticky fingers, King.
I mean, you've turned that around quick, because John only pitched Triceratops, like a month ago?
I mean, I'm assuming the check's in the post, mate.
So, what have you've written that in like a week, got it off to the publishers, and got a global publishing kind of pressing done, all within 4 weeks.
Have I been
I'm incredulous, but, hats off. That's all I'm saying.
You have to admit, he steals well.
Look, all I'm saying is, clearly, he's got the connections. He's got the money where he can run shit like that off in no time.
Yeah, I don't know what, I'm actually quite uncomfortable because I really like Stephen King. I don't like making him out to be a shyster, but well, we made the episode.
Yeah, I mean, where's his podcast where he pictures that story?
Steve, mate, I'm on your side, but you've got to help me out here because I'm seeing the evidence.
Yeah. Right.
Genuinely one of the best writers ever.
Yeah,
just want to caveat that.
Great.
It really is a very good writer.
My little edition of Pet Sematary is one of my favourite.
Oh, that's cracking book.
Fucking love that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, literally one of my favourite books I've ever written.
For a hopeless, I know we've talked about this before, but for a hopeless story, it is just fucking fantastic.
Great. It really, I mean, it only gets better as you get older as well.
Yeah, because then you can you basically, because you can empathise with his lead character, who just wants to sack off his entire family and fuck off into the distance. That is
that's
literally what he's thinking at the beginning of that novel. Like,
it is a little bit, yeah.
I'm sure there's a line where he's like, oh, what if I just keep driving?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit disillusioned.
So yeah, little insight into John's family life there for everybody.
But I would owe you in a pet cemetery to bring you back. So
would you? Oh God, you know what? Let's not go down that because that's a fucking grim.
You know what? As well,
that's a grim hypothetical I was about to lay out. Okay, so rant time. Microsoft and
get comfortable, guys.
Long week. Out last night drinking. Bad idea. So I'm hungover. I'm tired as fuck. I'm keeping myself going with coffee. Fucking commute was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And to top it all off, to try and set this podcast up to record with my good friend John, turns out that Microsoft decided, you know what, let's get a Windows 10 update out that just fucking resets all of like the drivers for the equipment that I use. And then what we'll do is when we run the diagnostics where it goes, do you want to troubleshoot? Do you want to troubleshoot this? Yeah, thanks, Microsoft. Yeah, I do want to troubleshoot that. And they go, well, everything's up to date. Yeah. Your drivers are up to date. Which is literally the opposite of what
I've been shooting. I found no trouble.
Yeah. And it's like, look, just say you don't know. Don't say the opposite of the thing that's true.
I do think the worst thing about Windows 10 is its pride.
I still hold Bill Gates responsible. I know he cashed out ages ago, but...
fucking curing polio like an idiot.
Stick to what you're good at. Yeah.
Stephen King, Bill Gates, Savile.
Let's be fair. Like at this point, I'm holding Melinda Gates equally liable.
You always have to, mate. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at you, Melinda Gates. Lady Macbeth of the piece.
Look, she's complicit. That's all I'm saying. She's complicit in as much as Bill's complicit. She's there. She's enjoying the money, isn't she? Yeah? Happy to take the Microsoft money. But washes her hands of the technical problems. I mean, who does that?
Who
does that?
She's like Dana Keaton out of Godfather.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's culture, isn't it?
I think that's all culture, mate.
We've sorted the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yeah. Someone's finally called out Stephen King for stealing off our podcast. I mean, we've had loads of emails about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Everyone's telling us.
Everyone spotted it.
Because they all heard our podcast first, right?
Yeah, completely.
It's like it went around the world like wildfire.
Yeah.
So anyway, look, onto the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Is that a phrase?
it's
I think it is, because the other option I've got in my brain is meat and two veg, but that's not what I mean to say. Onto the meat and two veg of the podcast. Fucking hell.
This is a silly one.
I've been drinking, by the way, I should state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm a bit... I forgot to add that. Because I've been drinking, I sort of forgot. So, self-fulfilling prophecy. Welcome to Act 3 for anyone that skipped ahead.
Yeah, you made the right choice.
You're the only ones that do. So,
Two very opposite reactions to that. I was like, no, yeah, you did the right thing. And you're like, no.
Well, I figured if I lied and said they were the only ones that did that,
yeah,
then maybe they'd be like, oh shit, we're missing something great.
Yeah.
Keep up, John.
That's sorry, mate. It's all clear, isn't it? I don't know what I was doing.
So welcome to Act 3. If you did skip ahead, you've missed all the best bits.
Yeah.
Apart from the meat and two veg.
Yeah.
Which is coming up now. So,
So open your ears for this.
Open your ear holes.
Yep.
Let us in. I'm just gonna gently...
Wow.
Gonna just gently worm my words in and around your brain. So, look, quick caveat here.
Tease the entrance.
Quick caveat.
Yeah.
I may have overreached myself with this one. I mean, that's probably true of all of them.
Oh, no,
but I feel like it's even more true now.
This one's quite an ambitious one.
It's ambitious. It's probably going to need a James Cameron level of money.
Okay.
Either that, or if you were very smart, you could probably do it on a low budget, but I'm not smart enough.
Who is?
There are people out there. Plenty of UK-based horror filmmakers.
There are.
So, if you're listening...
Get on
Start a Kickstarter. I'll put some money in.
Get in there before fucking King does.
Yeah. Hey, so Steve.
Yeah.
Here's your next.
Leave
book.
this one, mate.
Yeah.
Leave it.
No, don't leave it.
I want to see this one.
Hey, if anyone can get this one made, it's Stephen King.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah. So don't mess with the King.
Yeah.
So look, Stephen. Mr. King.
Yeah.
We know you're listening. Let's not fuck about. Strap in.
Take some notes.
We'll see how we get on. We'll get some input from you. I think it needs some tweaks, either from you or from Lamamians in general.
Yeah, all the Johns out there.
Fucking hell. All right, I'm gonna try and get through this. As always, I just ramble the fuck on, so I'm just gonna try and rattle through it.
All right.
But obviously, you know the drill. Interrupt whenever the fuck you like.
Yeah, jump in. You know what?
So here we go. Opening scene.
Oh,
someone. So it's a cold open. So it's a pre-credit sequence. Someone's being hung up, cut up.
Oh. He's
naked. It's an open plain at dusk, descending into a smoky darkness. At pace, in an unnatural fashion. As
time
something...
lapse.
No.
Oh,
no. I don't mean like a time lapse of.
It is
something like it's dusk, but then something foreign makes it dark.
Like an eclipse.
No.
I really did.
It descends into a smoky dark, quite literally a smoky darkness. Yeah. So smoke. Cool. Well, black smoke. Let's say black smoke.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's, maybe I made too vague.
I'm here to ask these kind of questions.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a black smoke that makes the dusk on the open plain darker.
Okay.
As something is stalking through it. Ooh. We see there are gaunt, indistinct figures circling a series of what looks like altars and wood piles and stuff that the guy's being sacrificed in amongst. Yeah. Most of them are hooded and robed, but they're not handsome clothes. They're ragged and lived in. Cutting closer in, whatever is stalking through the clearly abnormal smoky darkness is ignoring the robed people, and instead we're drawn to the hung up, strung up guy. Mm-hmm. We hear sounds like a beast, but we don't see it. Nothing but glimpses anyway. If we make anything out at all, it's legs or arms and the wrong number of either, not to mention not human.
Okay.
Though we do see the resolve of those few standing around begin to weaken, stroke flicker, probably through some visual cue, like a shaking hand or, like a bead of sweat or
cool.
something, just to be like, whatever's happening, they're not that comfortable with it.
Yes. Yeah.
We cut back to the sacrificial man and we see him enveloped in a black fog that appears to merge with him before disappearing kind of into him.
Yeah.
His panic's rising quickly as he gasps, his mouth open in pain. We see the black mist at the back of his throat just as his skin begins to move and shudder. There's something under his skin, writhing, sizable, all over his body, making it bulbous and grotesque where it's passing. Just like moving underneath the skin. I'm picturing this as being a pretty graphic start. Yeah. Even if we're not actually showing anything particularly violent, per se, it's still got kind of a lot of body horror hallmarks to it.
Yeah.
So the final shot of the opening scene is a closer shot of the top half of the sacrificial man. At this point, his skin's really fucking writhing all over, and we see a distinct hand outline appear on his lower abdomen before making its way slowly upwards. And as it makes its way up the body, we might have the skin warping or rotting or changing colour or worse as it's kind of passing underneath it. Until we see horrific, wilted, elongated fingers emerging seamlessly from the bottom lip. And as the guy screams, the fingers smoothly enter the top lip, basically kind of engulfing the mouth until it covers his whole mouth and the scream is cut off completely.
Oh, grim.
Although everything about the writhing body suggests he's still screaming somehow. We just can't hear him because he doesn't have a mouth anymore.
Of course.
The sacrificial man with with eyes wide open and panicking involuntarily arches his back, and we get a close shot of the back of the withered hand where his mouth used to be as it rots into a wide rictus grin, teeth, tongue, everything. It's not the mouth of the man, although it is where it was.
Yeah.
It's much bigger and inhuman. Suddenly we see his body in a wide shot, as with a series of horrific cracking sounds, it seems to implode in upon itself.
Oh, nice.
It's basically being crushed by something incredibly powerful, but from under the skin.
Yeah.
So
imploding almost.
Yeah. But, so the skin and the flesh remaining in place, but everything inside is like breaking and becoming mushed.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty fucking horrific.
Yeah.
And it's on that shot that we cut into the credits.
Cool.
So that's the opening.
Yeah.
So first act then. Act 1 sets a scene. We're in Byzantine era.
Ooh.
We're around 10th century, 1000 AD, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Modern day Cappadocia, I don't know, Turkey.
Yeah.
Then Asia Minor, but more importantly, a series of small warring pseudo-states and warlords, ongoing Byzantine civil wars, etc. It's the end of antiquity, the dying days of the classical age. Not that we get into too much of that, but you'll get the fucking gist.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
But
maybe kind of like text crawl.
Could do. I mean, you could
just load the table a little bit.
You could probably do it with visual cues somehow as well.
Yeah.
But there's a few ways you could do it.
All depends on your actual budget.
It does. The days of gods and monsters are long gone.
Yeah.
Broadly speaking, it's not a safe environment. It's constant struggle when it's not violent skirmishes or all-out war of some description. Alliances are fragile, politics is always shifting.
Yeah.
We're introduced to our city-state in the region, or township, if you like, and our cast of soldiers.
Ooh.
Ablabius, Vetranus, Beatus, and Opilio.
Ooh. Fancy names.
Yeah, Ablabius, always blabbing.
If I know Ablabius.
If I know Ablabius, it'll be blabbing.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a fucking blabber.
A loquacious man.
There wasn't one called Loquacious.
Save him for the sequel, man.
Yeah, he comes in the sequel.
But he's silent.
So we're introduced to our four soldiers. Ablabius and Vetranus are introduced together as like longtime friends and soldiers, and we get some sort of insights into them, quote unquote, off duty. Whereas Beatus and Opilio are introduced individually. Opilio is new here. To the township area and to the recruits. Yeah. Because this is still Roman Empire, but it's Eastern Edge, and it's fucking constantly shifting.
Yeah.
So, there's very little kind of settled, because I think more centralized parts of the Roman Empire are probably quite settled by that point, but this is not one of those.
Yeah, and all the hordes and steppes had pretty much nibbled the edges for a long time.
Right. So anyway, as a quartet, they're being sent on a resource and threat determination scouting mission. We discover that they are exploratores, which is what the Romans called scouts, basically. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's been a long time since I've studied Latin.
It's not your first language.
No. And so we follow the quartet out into the wilderness.
Can I get a slight clarification on rough ages for the four, just because I think that often helps.
Jesus.
Because I mean, or at least some kind of like hierarchy of like.
So I don't think there's any. So I think they're all on a flat hierarchy. Okay. So they're all on the same level. They're all basically just exploratories or scouts,
comrades in arms.
Comrades in arms. Yeah. In terms of ages, I mean, I'm gonna guess young, so probably early 20s. Okay. Because they probably wouldn't live much more than 35 at the time anyway.
So I was wondering, are we looking at like you kind of like your grizzled Sean Pertwee types, or are we looking at your more younger?
I'll take Sean Pertwee. No, I didn't think of that. Yeah. Since we're casting it, I'll have fucking Sean Pertwee.
You'd have fucking Pertwee.
I'd have him all day long.
Yeah, maybe a real clumps with Sean Pertwee.
I don't know why I've got so much time for him, but he is great. He's in it. Sean, if we ever make a movie,
I mean,
we'll give you a call.
We've taken down a lot of names in this one, but Sean Pertwee, mate, you're all right by us. You got a free pass, son.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened, but it just happened.
You've always got a bed here, mate. Carry on.
Thank you. So during this first act, the group splits up. Ablavius and Vetranus are a duo again, and Opilio and Beatus head in a different direction. They make kind of plans to regroup somewhere further down the line, some landmark or rather, it doesn't really matter. Act 1 culminates with us joining Opilio and Beatus at night. A few days have clearly passed. They meet a lone girl, a bit weird, standing alone in the middle of nowhere, seemingly uninterested in them and just fucking anything at all. When approached, they determine that she's lost, though obviously we're not convinced, and Opilio ends up winning an argument so that they essentially see the mute girl home. Yeah. And this is at night time, and she'll be pointed in a direction where there's a glow on a hill, so they're like, must be that, let's take her there. Fair enough.
Are we talking like girl, child, young woman? Is it definitely like...
No, I was thinking, generally accepted term of what girl means. So like, I don't know, under 16.
Yeah. but like over 7.
Yeah. Yeah. What's under 7? Toddler?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, no, there's
got to be a cut off for
or
toddler.
Or like child. I always think child, because at that point it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
I suppose it does.
So a female child.
Yeah.
A girl child.
A girl child.
Now I feel like an alien trying to like talk in human terms. Anyway, so the girl child points at a glowing thing, and they're like, "Let's take her there." So the next act begins with Ablavius and Vetranus. We're not entirely sure where they are, and neither are they, because they kind of lost their bearings, avoiding what they suspected to be a foreign and potentially dangerous party. Yeah. I totally lost my ability of description at that point. But, so some other group of soldiers or potential threat, or as they perceive it. Yeah. So armed people they don't know means from another township, from another area, could be violent. However you want to contrive it, they end up getting lost. Yeah. And that's a huge frustration, given that they are scouts. Yeah. And in their frustration and anger and so on, they barely notice that they're passing what looks to be the mouth of a cave. Coming back to Beatus and Opilio, as they approach the glow they saw earlier, it's a sort of stalactite. I should have looked this up. Stalactite or it's one of the ones going up from the ground. I don't know if that's tight or mite, but you know what you know what I mean by the use of the phrase. The ones
I don't
coming
know,
up
so I'm just going to nod as if I do know.
Yeah.
So
I thought he knows that. When you were like, "Yep," I was like, "Oh wow!" Not. I know. I was well impressed.
That's how I've got this far.
It's Clive all over again. Yeah. So a stone spike coming out from the ground. But it's hollow. And you can actually see this on the top of a hill, stroke mountain, or not on the top, but on the side. Yeah. And as they get to it, they realise they can see through kind of clefts in this rock to chambers beneath that go quite far down. And there's fires in there, which is what's causing the glow. However, by the time they've realised all this, they realise not only has the girl that they were bringing there disappeared, but they're now surrounded by what looks like hundreds of gaunt, silent people dressed in the ragged robes from the opening scene. So they're done. Yeah. Even if they fight, they lose through weight of numbers. In spite of their armaments and training, everything, there's only 2 of them. They have to just capitulate.
Lay down arms, sort of thing.
So without going into, without basically outlining every little thing in the movie, at this point, Beatus and Apilio are captured and taken via a network of rock-hewn tunnels into the bowels of the mountain. The glowing stalactite was glowing because of a firefight. Oh, I said that already. Its light was acting like a beacon in the night.
Yeah.
It's a trap. I'm not going to do an Akbar. I can't do a good Akbar, otherwise I'd be on it. It's a trap!
You really dummied us there, mate. Oh, I couldn't possibly. And then you nailed it.
Don't know if I nailed that.
Pretty good.
So in the bowels of said mountain, we discover what on the face of it appears to be a relatively functioning small town, entirely on one level. This is an underground city, right? However, the captors, no, captorees, the captured, are taken.
Captives?
The captives, fucking hell, drinking, John, late nights, drinking last night, drinking today.
Yeah.
It's all a mess. So the captives are taken another level deeper down. So it goes into a second level, and it's here they start to see the grim realities of their situation.
Yeah.
As far as we can discern, those on level 1 are using people on level 2 as both sacrificial inventory and food. Cannibalism, or so we suspect from the visual evidence.
Yeah.
Now, I'll talk a bit more about some context at the end. So we meet back up with Ablabius and Vetranus, who were either captured outside a different entrance, hence them passing the cave mouth, or perhaps scouted their way in, because they are scouts,
of course,
and got overwhelmed by what they discovered in there. Either way, once jovial and jocular Vetranus is now a gibbering mess. One of his eyes is fucking huge, totally oversized and bulging out of his head, and he's losing his marbles trying to deal with that reality.
Yeah.
And the fact that there seemed to be food, the weird religious sacrifices, and all of it, frankly.
Yes, there's lots to take in.
So, that's a big concern. The second level is also the size of a small town, but it's essentially a prison, and during Act 2 we see a number of examples of people being dragged, kicking and screaming out of this sort of underground open prison to be sacrificed, and also what we suspect to be eaten. Something rotten is happening. Don't know why I had to do that in
it works, mate.
Something rotten's happening anyway.
Cockney in the desert.
Even if they're not certain what. So, during the course of this section of the movie, we follow the four, though Vetranus is largely immobile, and unnervingly his bulbous eye has switched from the previous eye to the other one, and the previous eye is now all withered and damaged and stuff.
Oh, God.
So, I'm keeping that
He's in a bad way.
theme of body horror going, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, basically. There's all sorts of sorties through the second level and the horrors within, so they're scouts ultimately. They're trying to figure out how the fuck do we get out, what's going on, where are we, how do we get out, this is
your basic scout questions,
your scout checklist. So if anyone's studying scouting, there's your checklist.
It's the classic Act 2 scout checklist.
Classic Byzantine era scout checklist.
I mean, that'd be in the script.
Specifically the 10th century. So his fucking eyes switching about, that's obviously, it's similar to the stuff under the skin from the guy at the beginning, right? So they're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, doing all this, reconnaissance to try and get out, find ways out, and then we also, this latter part of Act 2, we start to get, spooks that aren't necessarily, I've written, they don't seem to be in any way corporeal. Okay. So basically suggesting that there's a supernatural element at play. Although I think you would leave that unconfirmed, So you might have spooky shit happening, but you don't have to confirm that it is genuinely supernatural. In the last stages of the act, the tension mounts as we believe that one of the group is next on the list to be taken upstairs. I.e. to be sacrificed or eaten, something we've seen throughout the act already. The act culminates with the four making an attempt at an escape. Pushed by circumstances, because Beatus was going to be taken, so as they come to take him, instead they fucking...
it's fucking
let's do this, let's fight
I mean,
flight.
I'd imagine that whoever we're dealing with probably isn't used to people with that much training. So
that's true.
Maybe they're a bit lax in how to deal with them and turn tables.
It's a messy time in that area's history. So they basically get on the run in this underground city on the second level, and they have no option but to go downwards because
Shit.
they can't
Gotta go down to go up.
Well, quite. So they're forced downwards towards the third level. The previously barred way was unbarred when they fled to it. They're actually rock doors, so like a huge rock will move in front of a passage, and so that was closed. But somehow, when they get to it with Vitranis, fucking dodgy eye, it's open, which is unnerving to say the least, but not least because the pursuers stop at the entrance to level 3.
Okay, so they've almost been herded.
Well, no, they're being chased, and then they get through. They get as far as the entrance to the third level, and the people who live on the first level are like, "We're not going down there."
You're on your own now.
Like we're nuts, but we're not fucking nuts.
Sensibly insane.
Yeah. The pursuers stop at the entrance to the third level, and the final scene of that act is Vitranis going the same way as the sacrificial man from the opening. Mm-hmm. It's a nasty business.
Yeah.
And it's probably more graphic than the opening scene.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
And also, by this point, it's more affecting because it's one of your four. It's one of your musketeers.
Yeah.
I only say that because when I started writing this, when I was doing Act 1 and introducing them, I couldn't help but think, it's a bit like Porthos and Aramis.
I
then
generally was thinking the Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah, it really is.
Didn't Dumas write that as well?
I think he did,
didn't he?
Yeah, he must have done.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He was well ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was.
Act 3. I've not structured the acts here properly, but this is a short Act 3 consisting of setting up the context of the new normal.
So again, would that be like scrolling text?
I'm thinking I would narrate that bit.
Okay.
So Act 2 had a lot of gore, scares and grim surprises aplenty in the fleshed out version, culminating in a fighting, escape and a death that impacts the group. Oblavius is furious at his friend's death, and thus has lost a lot of his critical analysis faculties because he's done that thing, where they're like, "Oh, I'm mad and not thinking now."
Like Raphael.
Exactly like Raphael out of...
It's a classic Raphael character type.
Beatus is in a sort of denial because, like, at this point, realistically,
eating some pizza.
It's pretty fucking grim.
Yeah, it's
because you're like, you can't go up.
Yeah.
You've seen what's up. It's not you're not gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You go up.
Yeah.
And yet the fact that they didn't want to come down.
Down doesn't sound great.
And also, your friend is basically just body horrored his way into his own grave.
Which would be shocking.
Yeah, which would be shocking. So so Vitranis is like, oh, I'm slipping off the thread of reality here.
Yeah.
So he's in a bit of shell shock.
He is no longer sensibly insane.
And Opilio is somewhat defiant, but remaining relatively pragmatic given the circumstances.
Of course, Donatello.
I mean, look, at this point, I think what I was trying to aim for was they could read it either way.
Of course.
And so could we, the audience. Like, they could be like, no, I fully believe this is like some mad supernatural shit going down and crazy. Or you could read it like, there's just some crazy people upstairs being bastards. Because humans are quite awful. Of course, in the round, where parasitic horror. So anyway, Opilio is somewhat pragmatic, and by this point, he's the audience surrogate, really. Yeah. Because he's the one that's shown a bit of compassion, to the girl, the child woman, whatever you wanted to call her. So in level 3, we unexpectedly... that is what I've tried to write. We unexpectedly meet a surviving handful of particularly fragile and seemingly mad old soldiers from a different region of Byzantium. Mm-hmm. Though somewhat mad in appearance and demeanour, we discover a few key elements that shift up the narrative a little. So those elements are: 1. The people on the first floor are a mix of Christians and Muslims, a mix of Byzantines and Arabs. And initially, they started sheltering here, fleeing conflict, of which there is an absolute fuck ton. Thus, the sacrifices are not a specific religious activity. Yeah. Which begs the question, why are they doing it?
What started all this?
2. There's something beyond humanity's capacity for cruelty causing this deviation. Something that lives below the third level. Yes. The one they're on. Ooh. 3. It's older than Christianity, because these are Romans after all, so at this point, they're starting to believe in that. So we learn via wall scrollings or whatever, spooky happenings down there, that it's something that predates Christian notions of deities.
Nice.
So during this act, the horror shifts from gory human horror to entirely supernatural scares. We almost certainly have a panicked scene where the level 3 old boys are killed, either by members of our protagonist group or other, or both.
Yeah.
So I wanted this act to culminate in the discovery of a further route down again, so going down again from level 3 into the bowels of the mountain, but not a man-made one. And someone, probably Opilio, discovers an ancient horror from antiquity unlocked from their rock prison beneath the mountain. Yeah. That horror happens to be called the Asag, or Asag, which is an ancient Sumerian evil deity, let's say. Described as being, quote, large, round, three-legged, three-armed creature with no neck and several eyes covering their entire bulk.
Wow.
Has dark, hardened skin that feels like rock when touched, almost indestructible. The Asag is the enemy of Ninurta, the Sumerian god of war, and he was trapped here by Ninurta. Whether we get that in terms of exposition, up for debate.
Yeah.
But, I'm not sure it hugely matters, frankly, for the film. But,
Agreed.
Since we're telling stories, I'm telling y'all.
I mean, to be honest, I think the thing you described, a bulbous-eyed, three-handed thing, is pretty shocking.
That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. You don't need that, but I'm doing it for my own shits and giggles.
Yeah.
So Act 4. This is the first Act 4.
Yeah.
That I've had anyway.
Yeah, really stretching the form.
And that's why I caveated that I don't think because there is traditionally structured how acts should work, what should roughly happen in the wall, and I'm not sure I quite followed it, but I sort of needed this extra act because what, if you hadn't guessed already, is I've tried to do a sort of 2 movie in one job here. Yeah. So, Act 1 and 2, although largely Act 2, you've gone one way with it. Yeah. And in Act 3, you get the... it's not quite a From Dusk Till Dawn level, complete switch up.
No, but I get you there,
It's like you scratch away and actually there's something else
You've gone from, Hills of Eyes to, some mad sort of ancient deity of pain and stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, let's say that. So Act 4 is all crescendo.
Again, this would all be voice-overed.
All voice-over.
All of that.
All of it. And the whole film's just me narrating. So Act 4 is all crescendo and escape.
Nice.
They've got an ancient evil right next to them and 4-ish stories of infected hell to get back through to get out to the surface. The Asag has polluted these people and caused them to present the sacrifices. He's made them believe that eating human flesh would protect and keep them, as he's killed any crops that they try and grow. I don't know, it's killed any crops they try and grow. It's
probably a bloke though, isn't it?
Probably, isn't it? They always are. They always are. And he's described as invading and polluting his victims, causing all kinds of maladies from head fevers to paralysis. But of course in this...
Definitely a fella. Definitely, mate.
In this, I've taken it a bit further. By the final act then, the trio now, because, Vetranus exploded in some fashion or imploded, whichever you want.
He's fucked.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, he's basically soup.
Yeah. So by the final act, the trio have accidentally they've unlocked the Asag further than it had already kind of... Yeah. So what I was driving at was that the sort of rotten, poisonous influence of the Asag has seeped out. Yeah. And infected these people. It's causing them to do what they've been doing. And yet the protagonist group, by trying to escape, have actually blundered into this prison, thus kind of opening it a bit.
It also kind of implies slightly that they themselves might have been poisoned. It's hard to know how much of their actions is their own.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's good. Lovely little touch there.
Thank you.
Very Kingian.
It bloody will be, won't it?
Yeah, so here we go. So basically, they've accidentally increased the Asag's power, and so most of the living people on level 2 and 3, or 1, 2, and 3, have become fucking infected like the sacrificial man. So it's actually kicked the fuck off. Yeah. It used to be just level 1, where the crazy people in level 2 were basically prisoners and meat, and now 50% of level 2 are basically infected, as are 50% of level 1. So there's a lot of people. They're ravenously tearing people and things apart. I'd imagine this is quite body horror-y with all kinds of Vandermeerian and Lovecraftian touches. I don't know if we've coined Vandermeerian yet, but I feel like it needs to be fucking coined. So Vandermeerian and Lovecraftian touches. Given that I've written it somewhat of an epic, Let's have the black smoke from the sacrificial scene snaking throughout all the floors, doing the infecting.
Yeah.
So occasionally, with we see a barely visible huge limb or eye or whatever in the fog. Also, according to the myth, he has rock minions as well, made of rock,
that's cool.
which were a consequence of him striking a deal with the mountain in order to sort of start to get released from his prison.
Yeah.
So it's
obviously.
Yeah. So I've tried to stay a bit close to the myth on that one.
Yeah.
So the movie culminates in this long, exciting and frenetic, or in the long, exciting and frenetic sequences of them getting back to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I think we probably lose Beatus in a suitable manner.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Opilio makes it out. Ablavius, jury's out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably not. I'm thinking, look, because it'd be another hour if we went through all the details of this.
Yeah.
But I think, let's say Opilio makes it out somehow or other.
Mm-hmm.
How they get out, I'd imagined it being pretty visceral and relentless series of fighting and killing, all kinds of mean shit. TBC though, write in, let's make a horror movie at gmail.com or tweet us at LeManPod.
Well, you could have the two of them fight side by side and die side by side. Maybe that's the maybe they do it to save the last man.
Well, exactly. So here, that's a good shout. Listen to these last few lines then. So, I had thought that perhaps there are some pieces of ancient weaponry potentially down on that third or fourth level that were maybe remnants of the original efforts to imprison this monster the first time around, and perhaps it's them that allow them to get as far as they do, to get back up and get out. I'm not sure whether they somehow defeat the god or whether they just survive. That's up for discussion.
Yeah.
The other final note I would say is that I also thought that probably I'd have Ablavius and Vetranus, if not all of them, doing some pretty grim stuff to other soldiers or people in the name of their township before they even get to the underground city.
Yeah, I like that.
And the reason for that is because I kind of wanted to touch on I didn't want to make it just a straight moral, like, these guys are bad, those guys are good, they survived. I didn't want it to be like that, because the reality is never like that. And these are fucking soldiers
in a grim time.
Yeah.
They aren't going to be the four good ones have all got together.
So I call them, like, the musketeers, but they're not. They're fucking horrific.
Yeah, they're more like the twacketeers.
The twacketeers. But they are our protagonists at the end of the day. And so the only reason I thought Opilio might survive is that he had shown us some compassion.
He's shown some moral sort of fortitude.
Right, some moral fortitude in the film. But nonetheless, it's a grey morality. In the end, I ran out of time, but I probably would have written something like that into Act 2, into that summary. Couple of last things before we chew it over. I wrote this because there is a real underground city called Derinkuyu in Turkey, in Cappadocia. It existed since the 6th century.
Wow.
It is 3 stories deep, and it could hold 20,000 people. 20,000 people,
It's a lot of people.
and all of their livestock. This is hewn into the rock in a mountain. It has genuine stone doors that can roll back and forth to seal them in.
That's
and
mad.
it is absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It housed all kinds of people. It housed fleeing Christians, fleeing Greeks, fleeing Arabs. Everyone at some point or other used it because it was such a fluid area in terms of
safe.
Right. So to contextualize that story a little bit, I wanted to utilize that. So the reason that there are people there in the first place is that they ended up there fleeing from war, from say their town being burned to the ground or whatever. And so they culminate here. That's why there's a mix of different kinds of people up there.
It makes it, the creature being I can't remember the name, the
Asag.
Asag makes it more like a kind of like honey trap almost.
Yeah.
But it's sort of sitting at the bottom of this like too good to be true safe haven.
Right.
Which makes it quite grim and malicious.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
If anyone cares, this is under the Macedonian dynasty of Byzantine history. So here's a little quick note for J-Dubs, because
he's going to have a struggle with this one. Who is noun in a place.
There is a genuine Byzantine empress who ruled in 1028, and her name was Zoe. I'm not going to try and pronounce. Well, her second name is
Let's call her Zoe. That's a name, mate.
Zoe Porphyrogenita. Anyway, look. So she was a Byzantine empress.
Yeah.
She ruled alongside 3 husbands and her adopted son Michael and her sister Theodora. and genuinely did rule for a period.
Nice.
Now, what I'd originally planned to do was, and this is crap, I think, which is why I didn't do it, but I want to mention it anyway, was I wanted to make Opilio be Zoe before she became Empress of Byzantium. She doesn't actually become Empress till she's 47, so she basically lived a full life.
An old girl.
A girl? An old child? Is that what you're meaning? I can't.
I must say they're all girls to me,
yeah. Don't say that. Okay, now. So I was going to do that, and then I thought, well, it's a bit Shakespeare in love. So I thought, don't do that.
Yeah.
Plus, I remembered J Dubs' feedback from last week, or last episode.
Too many chicks.
Not enough dicks.
That's what he said, right?
Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure it was too many chicks, not enough dicks. So that's the story.
It's fantastic.
Is it?
It's great.
You're very generous.
There's a lot going on.
It's a bit off way more than I could chew.
That's pretty awesome.
I
think setting's going to be key for that one. I think if you can nail the authenticity and the mood,
well,
then you're laughing.
And the reason at the outset I said, not only, like I said, it needs James Cameron level budget, but then it could also be done as low budget.
Yeah.
And the reason I think it could be done low budget is it's almost entirely underground.
Yeah.
In terms of your exterior shots, you only need you're probably a week in Turkey shooting. You know?
That's how films
Says
are, right?
me. Yeah, that's how... you
can shoot it for a week in Turkey, right?
No. The external scenes only.
And then do it on a sound
and
stage.
then do it all in Pinewood or somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a fucking expert, as you can tell. As you can tell.
It's a basic Star Wars model, mate. Tunisian model. Fucking Alec Guinness on the stage.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. But basically just copied Star Wars.
Yeah.
Without realising it. Yeah, so...
it's great. I had a couple of, not really notes, more sort of touches, a little, sort of little flares. I think for the smoke, it'd be cool to give it some kind of interesting sound.
Ooh.
Like it's sentient.
Yes, I like that.
I don't know quite what, but like some kind of something where it sounds alive. So it isn't just like a sound of movement, but a sound of something. So like a kind of a weird wail or.
I quite like the idea of sound of movement too. I quite like the idea of like
I think
a clear sound of bare feet on stone, but but all you see is smoke.
Yeah,
and not even touching the ground. Like I think that would be kind of a nice
awesome.
Disconnect.
Yeah, and maybe even some kind of like a low, almost predatory cat kind of sound, maybe. Like a low sort of grumble.
Ignore him, Ted.
Sorry, because predatory cats exist, mate. Don't fucking fill Ted's head full of lies.
Ted's a pacifist.
Just reading him Tiger Came to Tea. That's what tigers eat, mate.
He's a pacifist. The Tiger That Came to Tea. Yeah. That's a great book.
It is a lovely... I've read it about 100 times.
Yeah, Judith Kerr, am I right?
I think it is.
I think that is.
Kerr.
But, Kerr. It's Kerr. Yeah. Fuck.
I wasn't going to put you up on it. But...
Well, you did.
I wasn't, but
you weren't gonna, and then you did. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the first bit counts anymore.
No, I think we could... To be fair, I feel like I'm getting got at, but I didn't make a mistake, mate.
But much like our chat last episode about what would really happen with the live action Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah.
The Tiger That Came to
Tea. It'd be a tragically short story.
It would be a very tasty tea for the tiger.
Yeah.
And a very difficult time for everyone else.
It would be 2 pages long. It'd be like, Dad's gone work.
Second page is
Open
just
the door.
It's just red. That's all it is.
And the last page is it's like a newspaper clipping.
I tell you what I didn't do is I thought about it and then forgot, which was to come up with some ideas for titles.
Oh God, yeah.
So Lamamians out there,
yeah, Johns, calling the John Army. Put your money where your mouth is, John.
I don't think people are going to respond to that.
I don't know, what could you call it?
Under the Mountains of Madness.
Yeah.
Bit of a steal.
Yeah, Mesopotamia. Spoils of war. Because essentially that's what all the refugees are to the monster. That they are the spoils of war. Because it's basically feeding off the folk, innit? Yeah. Off the detritus of conflict.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't got a better one. I mean, you could call it a Pilio.
Yeah.
But then you could call it a Blabius. I mean,
yeah.
Or a Tranus.
A Pilio's a good one. because I think that's the nicest sounding name.
Oh, I like Vitranis. I thought that was a nice name.
Vitranis is quite nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Spoils of War. It's a really cool name.
No, thank you.
I would love to see that. Well, I do think you could do that as a low budget film. As I say, you just need some exterior shots. Doesn't have to be filmed in Turkey even.
Yeah.
You can be filmed anywhere that vaguely works.
Yeah.
But most of the film's interior. But I still would love to see like a huge Hollywood epic of that.
Yeah.
Because I think wouldn't that be fucking awesome to see a proper old school Hollywood epic that goes full on horror.
Yeah.
Because that just doesn't exist. As far
No,
as
it really doesn't. No, I mean that's one of the things that we were saying before about It Too that I like is that that future seems more likely the more films like It Too exist.
Right. Great. Well, look, that's it. We won't ramble on any longer for you.
Yeah.
But do write in or tweet us or send us a photo semaphore based message on Instagram if that's your jam.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go through that again. So, if you've got a good idea that would improve that, and I think it could be massively improved. Like, it's just a first draft.
Yeah.
Email us if you want to be like J-Dubs and be...
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't, yeah, if you want to be a legend.
Send in some picture ideas.
So yeah, email us at letsmakeahorrormovie@gmail.com. Tweet us at LeManPod. Yep. Also, we're looking for names for listeners, so if you've got a good collective noun, I mean, make one up, obviously.
Yeah.
Like Lemamians, Lemampedeans?
You've got Johns to beat. That's the current name. That's what everyone's accepted as the name. That's what all the t-shirts say.
I feel like this is a potential Twitter vote at some point. Yeah. It's the only way to be sure.
And if I know anything about the world, there's a lot of Johns out there.
That's it. There you go. That's episode 8.
Yeah. End on the fizzle.
So come and make a horror movie with us, albeit in just an audio form. And not a full movie. Yeah. And not a movie full stop.
Happy Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, spooky, spooky. Yeah, or happy Monday, whatever it is.
Spooky like Jesus.